Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from R&N. On today's Xfinity Rewind, we're looking back at Saturday's LTI Printing 250. 125 laps, 250 miles around the 2-mile Michigan International Speedway, Brooklyn, Michigan. 6 caution flags in this race for a total of 29 laps. First off, though, we did have one withdrawal before the race, and that was Joe Graff Jr. in the 21 car for RCR, supposed to be making his series debut, and honestly, I'm not really sure what the reason for that was. But did not start the race nonetheless. So first caution came very early, lap number 6, as the 07 of Ray Black Jr. and the 90 of Dylan Bassett got together in turn 4. Lap 13, the 8 of Jeb Burton spun on the backstretch. Stage 1 concluded at lap number 30. Your Stage 1 winner would be Paul Menard. He was in the 12 car this week for Penske. No incidents in Stage 2. That ended at lap number 60. Your Stage 2 winner would be Christopher Bell. A couple of incidents here in Stage 3 before we got to the end of the race. Lap number 73, the 08 of Greg Galding and the 42 of Chad Fincham get together, and Galding goes around in turn 4. And finally, lap number 78, the 98 of Chase Briscoe and the 99, driven this week by Tommy Joe Martins, got together in turn number 2. 5 lead changes in this race among 6 drivers. Let's see, Paul Menard, I believe, led the most laps here. Yes, 56 laps led by Paul Menard. 36 laps went to Christopher Bell, 20 laps led by Cole Custer, 11 laps went to Tyler Reddick, and 2 laps were led by Bailey Curry. Alright, so on to your results from the LTI Printing 250. Paul Menard won Stage 1 and led the most laps. Christopher Bell won Stage 2. Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer were up in the mix as well, not surprisingly, as now Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, and Christopher Bell have been dubbed the Big Three in Xfinity. I wish we'd just get rid of that term, but that's neither here nor there. Did any of them win this race? Tyler Reddick took the victory in this one, his 3rd victory of the season, to catch him up to Cole Custer and Christopher Bell to make them a quote-unquote true Big Three. He took home the victory in the KC Motor Group number 2 Chevy, after leading 11 laps on the day. Held off a hard-charging Noah Gragson at the end of the race. Gragson was coming. Gragson had moved his way all the way up to 2nd and was closing on the 2 car. Just didn't quite have enough time to get up there to Reddick. Michael Annett came home with a strong 3rd place finish. Paul Menard in 4th, and Justin Allgaier rounds out the top 5 to put 3 Junior Motorsports cars in the top 5. The rest of your top 10 were Brandon Jones, Chase Briscoe, John Hunter Nemechek, Jeb Burton in 9th to put all Junior Motorsports cars in the top 10, and Justin Haley rounded out the top 10. 11th through 20th, Austin Cindric landed in 11th. Cole Custer and Christopher Bell, after some differing pit strategy did not work out for them, they came home 12th and 13th. Ross Chastain this week comes home in 14th after declaring he is now running for truck points, so really, the Xfinity races for points don't really mean anything for him anymore. He's just out there running the 4 car for Johnny Davis to make sure it's in every race. Ryan Sieg, a disappointing day for him. 17th, 1 lap down. 21st through 30th, we talked about Chad Fincham's incident. He came home in the 22nd position. And final page, 31st through 38th. Riley Herbst out very early, crash at lap number 12 that did not bring out a caution. In fact, that was on the same lap as the Jeb Burton spin, and the caution actually ended up technically being for the Jeb Burton spin, but they were on the same lap. They happened virtually the same time. Riley Herbst did not have a good weekend after all of his mechanical issues in the ARCA race, wrecking in practice for the Xfinity race, and then this crash in the race. He will be happy to get out of Michigan, I am sure. All right, so that's your results from the LTI Printing 250. So let's head over to the media center, and we will see what Tyler and his team had to say after their third victory of the season.
Yeah, it seems like our car would work the bottom a lot better earlier in the run than most people could. Towards the end of that second stage, whenever we were running down the 12, the 20, and the 00, we were able to run them down pretty fast, but once we got there, it was a little difficult to really do a lot when you have 3 cars in a row like that. One car behind the next, and the next is just less and less air that you're able to take advantage of. But so we needed to do some work on our car. But I feel like if I, could get to them early enough in the run, I'd be able to make those passes. But it definitely gets harder as the run goes on. So our car would really take off, and I don't know. I maybe go back to watch the race, and I'll feel differently about it. But I feel like we can make more moves than most people could early in a run on people. And our car would drive really good in the beginning of the run. So, it just ended up being a kind of a race where whoever made the best call at the end and took advantage of what fell their way won the race. But, that falls on Randall. He saw the way the race was going to go. He saw the leaders stay out there, and he wanted to get us ahead of the rest of the guys that pitted, and we took fuel only, and we were able to get up in front of those guys, get around the people that did stay out, and, just be the first one on that strategy.
We're going to race him at least one more, maybe 2. We're hoping that the more sponsorship we get, the more we'll run. But I'm going to race him myself for at least 1, maybe 2 races. And we're going to kind of pick where we'll sit down and talk about the best opportunities. I'd like to see him in a car here tomorrow for sure. But because it's going to be an aggressive race tomorrow, it's going to take a lot of aggressive driving, and I think he'd fit right in the seat.
Yeah. It's we have a lot of fun on our deal. Like he slid through the box that first stop a little bit, and we instead of making a big deal out of it, we asked him if he could reach the brake pedal. So we were just teasing him a little bit, and no, we like to have fun. We take it very seriously, but I think we work well because we like to have fun at it, and we know we got each other's backs, and he's done an incredible job this year, and his feedback's been great this year, and it helps us get to where we need to be. And we weren't really happy with our car at the end of second practice. Like, we unloaded pretty good, and it just kept getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And we made some pretty significant changes in practice and couldn't get on the other side of it. So he's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to change some stuff." And so that's what we did, and made our car certainly better today, and at least give us opportunity, to go up there and run with those guys.
All right, so let's take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here today. And if the playoff grid wasn't set before, it's pretty well set now. With Ross Chastain declaring for truck points instead of Xfinity points, that has erased him off of the Xfinity side of things. All those points that he gained in the beginning of the season, gone. They wouldn't matter at this point anyway, since he's not getting points going forward. But he is completely dropped off of the Xfinity point sheet, and that now moves Gray Gaulding up to the 13th position, but he is 85 points behind Brandon Jones, and the gap continues to widen behind that. So unless we get a surprise winner outside the top 12 between now and the start of the playoffs, which isn't out of the realm of possibility. Jeremy Clements has won at Road America before. Brandon Brown has shown flashes of good runs this season. Gray Gaulding almost won at Talladega. So you've got guys that have potential to pick up a surprise victory outside the top 12. Will they do it? That is the real question. If they don't, we've got a pretty well set playoff grid at this point. These are your 12 drivers that will be in the playoffs this season, unless we have a surprise victory from outside the top 12. So take a good look at them. I think we've pretty well got the Xfinity playoffs set this season. Now, there are drivers in this 12 that are much more clearly cut out to win the championship than others. I mean, obviously, Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick have been by far the strongest 3 Xfinity regulars this season, and more than likely all 3 of them will be in the championship 4 at Homestead unless something weird happens in the playoffs. But outside of that, there's still one other spot that could be filled in the championship 4, maybe 2 if one of these guys has a bad round of 8. It's possible one of them doesn't make the championship 4, but that's a ways down the road. We're talking months down the road here. We've got plenty more races to get to before we get to that point. So we'll continue to look at the playoff grid, how it shapes and molds between now and then. But like I said, I think these are probably your 12 drivers that will be in the playoffs unless something really weird happens between now and the start of the playoffs. But that's your playoff grid following the LTI Printing 250 from Michigan, and I believe that'll do it for us on this Xfinity Rewind. We had an ARCA and a Truck Rewind go up yesterday, as well as a winner interview with Michael Self for the ARCA race. If you haven't seen those, go check those out. We also had our 250 subscriber live Q&A yesterday. That was a fun time hanging out with a couple of you that were in here just kind of having a conversation, hanging out. We might do that a little more often going forward. We'll see when we can. I mean, we're only at about, I think it's 257 subscribers right now, so not too big of a community yet, so it's not like we could get too many people in there on a consistent basis, but we'll try and do those every once in a while going forward. But K&N Rewind coming up later today. That was a fantastic race last night. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's probably been the best NASCAR race so far this season at any level of NASCAR. That K&N West race last night from Colorado was amazing. So definitely check out that K&N Rewind if you missed it. It'll be coming up here in just a little bit. And then, of course, a Cup Rewind coming up late tonight. I work till midnight at the day job today, so it'll be late tonight when that goes up, but there will be a Cup Rewind tonight nonetheless. So if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. While you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. But at that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.